Hello and welcome to another episode of Broadcast Gaming Talk. Let me tell you that the title of this video isn't clickbait, nor is it purely there for shock value. I am also not one to be considered a Legend of Zelda fan, so yes, this is pure and honest opinion from me. I have been playing Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time, specifically the 3DS version, and I absolutely hate this game. There's so much to unpack that I don't even know where to start with this. Well, up until this point, I've played and finished 3 Legends of Zelda games, which are The Wind Waker, Phantom Hourglass, and Spirit Tracks. Yes, I had difficulties and times of stress and hair pulling out with those games, but I was able to get through them. Ocarina of Time for me is on an entire different level of its own. The first thing that I can think of that makes me hate this game is how I don't get why this game has a save game function when it doesn't work like a proper save game function should. See, in most games, when you save your game, not only does it save whatever your character has in their inventory, but it also saves where your character currently is, so that when you load the save, you're right back where you are with what you have. But in Ocarina of Time, it doesn't do things that way, and it annoys the piss out of me. It took me probably 2 weeks to get through the first temple, not only because the temple is complicated and did a lot to piss me off, but also because every time I save within the temple, when I go back to the game and load my save, it starts me outside of the temple. This leads me to another reason why it took me so long to get through the forest temple, is because having to start from outside of it, despite having saved inside the temple, caused me to not remember where I was or how to get back to where I was. It took me... To make a long story short, I wanted to give up on this game several times, but I eventually got through the forest temple. Not to mention that one of the things that also annoys me is when you die, why don't you come back with full fucking health? It's absolutely ridiculous. Why do I come back with 3 hearts? Anyway, the game's save game thing, it just really fucking annoys me. If I save in a temple, put me back in there. Now, worse is when I'm Child Link and I happen to save just outside, like if I'm just in Hyrule Field or something like that. And when I come back to the game, it puts me in Link's little treehouse in the starting village. And then the backtracking commences. I think you get the point as to why the save game function in this game really pisses me off. Because I spend more time backtracking because of it. The second thing I can think of that makes me hate this game is forced collecting. If there's one aspect of games I really despise, it's collectathon games. The kind of game that requires you to collect 6,000 coins before you can progress forward in the game. Looking at you, Super Mario 3D Land. Anyway, in the other 3 Zelda games I've completed, I found that collecting things like heart containers was not a necessity, but more of the game will be easier if you do. However, in Ocarina of Time, you basically have to get every single heart piece and heart container, or else your progression will be halted. I have to be honest, at the time of writing this, I have not come anywhere close to finishing this game. I'm basically stuck at the boss of the Fire Temple. Yes, the second temple in the game. I've tried to fight the damn thing about 10 times, but I can't beat it because I only have about 8 hearts of health, and the boss attacks do like 4 to 6 hearts of damage, so I get 1 to 2 shotted every single time. Of course, the guide tells me I'm supposed to have 13 hearts of health at this point, and to that I say, well, I haven't seen any heart containers anywhere. That's the part with collecting in this game that pisses me off, is that nothing is easy to find. No, everything is stupidly complicated to find, and it doesn't help that some things can only be found when you're adult Link or when you're only Child Link, and that's really fucking stupid. Not only do you collect the stuff for your health, but then there's these gold spider things that are apparently for upgrading stuff, like how big your wallet is. And you know what? That would have been nice to know because I've been running around with 99 max rupees for, well, the entire time. My point is that when you first find one of these gold spider things, it could at least say, this is for upgrading things, or something along those lines. You know, collect this many of these to upgrade this, you know. To be honest, that last sentence is my biggest problem with Ocarina of Time. Look, I understand that games today can be too hand-holdy, but for me, that's the kind of thing I'm used to. I like having some sort of idea as to where I'm going, what I'm doing, why I need something, etc. Ocarina of Time is a game that is on the opposite end of the spectrum. It's over there with games like Morrowind for me. Ocarina of Time is the game where, well, you're an elf boy with a sword, have at it. Why am I collecting gold spiders? Where are the heart pieces and heart containers? It's the kind of thing that, for me, makes a game more frustrating, more stressful, and a hell of a lot less of a fun game to play. And don't even get me started on Eponia, as that is just one more thing that pisses me off about Ocarina of Time. All I wanted was to get an empty bottle in Lake Hylia, but no, you gotta have Eponia to be able to jump the fence. Alright, so I went and got Eponia's song, and then I went to Lon Lon Ranch. After paying for some ride practice time, I used the song to call Eponia, and then I practiced for a bit, and then you have to do the 50 rupee bet and race the guy. Okay, I lose. Fine, whatever. I mean, I know what to do here. Stay on the inside lane. Don't use all the carrots so they recharge faster. Well, I lose and lose and lose and lose about 6 fucking times before reaching the point of frustration and wanting to throw the game cartridge into a crusher. Even now, as I am writing this, I still keep failing the race and not getting Eponia. Just another part of the game that pisses me off. How I truly feel about Ocarina of Time is that it's just frustrating, stressful, and I really cannot have fun playing it. My current favorite Zelda game is The Wind Waker, and it's going to take a lot to knock that one out of my favorite spot. I find myself in the position where I don't know if I want to keep playing Ocarina of Time or move on to try another of the 3 Zelda games I have waiting to be played. Yes, I have Link Between Worlds, Majora's Mask, and Twilight Princess yet to play. I don't know, Ocarina of Time just is probably the hardest game I've played. And that brings me to my very last point before I wrap up the video. I know in the Zelda fandom that Ocarina of Time is that one game that you're not allowed to say anything negative about and that everyone is supposed to love. I also know that from looking at forum posts on the difficulty aspect of this game, that the general defense for anyone saying that Ocarina of Time is too hard for people is that people will say, well, I beat the game 4 times when I was 6 years old, because, you know, that means everyone should be able to beat the game. Well, I am saying that in my opinion, Ocarina of Time is too difficult, and I don't give a shit if you've beaten it 4 times when you were 6 years old, because you're not me. I've never been good at Zelda games or games with puzzles in them, with the exception of Portal and Portal 2. So I don't want to see anyone saying that my opinion is wrong because you beat this game 4 times when you were 6 years old, because that's not really a defense. That's all I have to say, so if you want to add to the conversation, leave a comment below. As always, thanks for listening, and goodbye.